Hi, welcome back to the EBS-50 tutorials. My name is Jurgen Rodenhuis. I'm one of the software developers of the ESL Server software. And today I'm going to talk about user accounts and roles. Well, with the rest of the tutorial, we always use the default credentials to get into the system by saying our username is admin and our password is admin. And as you can understand, that is not a very safe login screen because anyone can guess that. So, what we want to do is create an account. We want to register a user, and our very first user will be an admin. So let's call him an admin. Let's say his username is admin2, just to differentiate from the first admin we had. Let's type in a password. And let's register that user. It says, well, the first user has been registered, please log in. So we are forwarded back to the login screen. And for all time's sake, I'll try to type in admin, and we will be told that that's an incorrect username or password. Well, yeah, that's correct, because now we're admin2 with a longer and more secure password. Great. So now I'm into the system. And I can do anything. I can change ESLs, I can change the base stations, the database connection, the templates. Yeah, that sounds a bit like an issue. If you have someone walking around in the store with a handheld scanner and the only thing that they are supposed to do is just link ESLs or unlink ESLs, you don't want them to mess around with the database connection or the templates. So what you want to do is add roles. When we registered an admin, we had to actually click the little box that said admin, because that is the default role. And we can add more roles. And roles are basically logical units of what a user is allowed to do. So this is the admin role, and he is allowed to view and edit. We can click this little icon and click it open, and it says, okay, you can view the dashboard, the base station page, the ESL page, all of these pages. You can view and edit logs, view and edit links, products, templates. You're allowed to do everything to view and edit. When we get to the ESLs, what can you do with ESLs? All of the actions in the drop-down menu on the ESL page, we're allowed to do them all. Base stations, we're allowed to connect, disconnect, load balance the ESLs, turn on roaming, update the base station firmware, perform an energy scan, change settings of the base station. And within this account system, we can change our own password, the password of lower roles and of equal roles, remove accounts, change details, register new users in a lower or equal role, and change the user roles for lower and equal roles. For importing and exporting, what are we allowed to do? We are allowed to import and export an entire backup and just the templates. And we are allowed to edit system settings, network settings for the secure shell, for MySQL, and for updating the EBS-50's firmware. And on the notification, what kind of notifications do we want in the top right in the little bell icon when there is an issue. So what that means is an admin is allowed to do literally everything. And we encourage you to create roles that suit what you want your users to be able to do. So let's just say that we have this person working in the supermarket who is allowed to change links on ESLs. But that's it. They're not allowed to do anything with changing the base stations because they have no cause to be there. So let's call this one a floor linker. What is he allowed to view? Well, obviously he is allowed to view the ESL page and to enable him to actually link the products. We want to allow him to view the products and the links and to actually edit the links. And what actions on ESLs are we allowing him to perform? Well, obviously linking and unlinking, maybe force a link with a non-existent product item that is supposed to be added to the database at a later point. But we're not allowing him to, set ESLs to a factory default. We will allow him to request ESL settings because that's not too damaging, but deactivating them, firmware updating them, nah, this is all he needs to be able to do. So, do we want him to change his own password? Well, this is such a low-level thing. We'll probably create an account that we will just share among multiple people when shifts end. The other guy can take this handheld device and continue on. So, we don't need to do anything else. Let's just click Save. So, awesome. We've got an admin and we've got a floor linker. For us, it's pretty obvious that the floor linker is lower in rank, if you like, than an admin. You can also make that more explicit, because we saw in an admin he can change the passwords of roles that are lower than him in hierarchy. Well, this is the hierarchy. We can drag them around and say, well, the floor linker is actually more important than the admin. Well, he isn't, so let's drag it back down. Click Save. So great, we've got a role. But now we need users in that role. So let's register a new user. Let's call him Linker. Let's give him a new password and retype it just to be sure. And we say that new user is a floor linker. We get a signal back that the user has been registered in that role. And if I now log out of my admin2 account and I say I want to log in as the user linker, you'll see I'm not even allowed to view the dashboard. I will go to the very first page that I'm allowed to see, which is the ESL page, or the links page, or the products. And once I'm here, I can select one of these ESLs, and I can say I want to link it, unlink it, or request new settings. Any of the other settings that were in the list have been moved away. And even if there are certain options in the menus that look like we're allowed to do them, well, actually we're not. We can say I want to delete this row. Are you sure? No, you don't have the permission to do this. So even if you're on pages where the page itself kind of looks like it lets you do these actions, there's always a check if the account that you're in is actually allowed to do that. And in this case, we're not allowed to delete items from the product list, but we are allowed to look at them. And that is the basics of the roles and users system. We encourage you to change and edit to your heart's desire. And if you have any further questions on how to use this, we will come back to it in the chapter about the API, because you will need a user account to be allowed into the API. If you want to watch other videos in this tutorial, be sure to check the description for a link to the playlist. And if you have any further questions, you can always contact Opticon. Our contact details are in the description as well. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.